Okay, so honestly, I think we've all like heard these types of stories where like, there's a babysitter and the babysitter's like some hot girl and it's like, whoa, like I want to see your cherries, and it's like a big deal whatsoever. And honestly, this story's similar to that, but mine was more extreme. And to this day, I still haven't told my parents about this, so if my parents do watch this, that's kind of awkward. But what are the chances of that? Hopefully 0 to none. And before I fully get into this story, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do, and like the more you guys support this channel, the more I feel like I can do more of these. And well, who out there doesn't like a good story? Anyways, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story takes place back when I was in middle school. To be exact, I think I was in grade 6, going to grade 7. I think it was the summer of, and I remember during that summer was one of the craziest summers. I remember this specifically because I remember I would always play video games, and I would literally sit in my room facing my TV that I had in my room. I know, kind of a flex, a kid having a TV in his room at like, age of 13, even though now it's like really common, but it was a flex back then. But going on, I remember I always focused on playing video games, being with myself, and just doing my own thing. Unless you guys bring up my middle school crush, but obviously I had no chance at the time to get her because, well, I guess she was into guys with Jeeps. Kind of weird. Anyways, though, going on, this story is about how my parents decided to hire a babysitter. And honestly, a babysitter is one of the most weirdest things in my mind. Like, I remember even like first hearing the word babysitter. Like, who really pays a woman to sit on babies? Or guys, I don't know. It's most common that girls are babysitters, but hell, that's just a stereotype. Anyways, going on, I remember my parents were planning to go on a trip. They were planning to go on a trip to Germany, and they wanted to, just go out there for work and stuff, but at the same time have a good trip. And me being a child, just sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, they didn't want to leave me alone. So they hired a babysitter. And well, this babysitter was just not it. And by not it, I mean, I don't understand how babysitters work. I remember when she first entered in that door, I'm not gonna lie, she was some hot blonde girl that looked like she was a party girl, but forced to babysit me. I remember she came in, she sat down on the couch, and I was just sitting there with my Nintendo DS playing Super Mario Brothers, and she looks at me. She looks at me saying, "Hi, what's your name?" And I'm like, my name's Bubba. Do you want anything? And I looked down at my DS. So obviously I had a higher pitched voice, but I'm not gonna lie, I can't pull a high pitched voice anymore. Anyways, going on, I remember I was just playing my DS, and my dad was running through the rules of the house. Now, obviously, my dad, he has like a really big house. He, lives in this like nice big place at the time before I moved out and stuff, but he has a nice big house that has like a lot of rooms, and obviously we had to make sure she knows like what are the rules, what she can cook, just the basics of the house. And me, I knew that house like inside out. So I remember, I'm not gonna lie, with her being there, I wanted to have some fun. That sounded really wrong, but going on, I remember as I was just kind of hanging out, chilling, and my parents were getting up and ready to leave for their flight. Right at the door, I remember I gave my dad a hug, and he whispered in my ear saying, "If there's any trouble, I left the phone inside my room. You can go get it." And then he left. So knowing I had an emergency phone was pretty cool, but to be fair, how the hell are they gonna get back from Germany that quick? Anyways, I remember me and her just sat in the living room, me on my DS and her just on her phone, and then she turned her head and asked me a question. She said, "So like, what do your parents like do for work? Like, they live in such a nice place." I look at her and I'm like, "They do jobs?" Yeah, I know, not a really good answer, but to be honest, I didn't really want to tell this chick anything. Yeah, she was hot, and I'm not gonna lie, looking back at it now, damn, she was fine. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I was just a kid that focused on video games and myself. I didn't care for girls at the time, unless it was my middle school crush. It's kind of sad, and the more I think about it, the more I think about my middle school crush, I really gave that girl like my world back when I was in middle school. And knowing now going to high school and going with a bunch of other chicks kind of saved me. Wow, I'm pretty awesome. Anyways, going on, I remember as like we were just kind of chilling there and sitting there, I remember like she just kept asking these really stupid questions, like, "Oh, like, is that the TV remote?" As she literally points as the TV remote. Like, I think like the saying goes like blondes are dumb. I believe this blonde was proving that equation. She was dumber than dumb. Like, think of Dumb and Dumber, but dumb. That did not make any sense. Wait, am I dumb? Going on, I remember it was like towards nighttime. It wasn't really nighttime, but it was like 6 o'clock. And me, I usually stay up till like 12 at night, because it's a summer. I'm playing video games, I'm that cool kid, you know what I'm saying? Not really. It's just when my parents were home, they never came in my room, so I always stayed up all night just playing either like Lego Star Wars or Call of Duty. But then I remember what ended up happening was that the babysitter around 6:30 looks at me and says, "Hey, Bubba, I think it's time for bed." What? Dude, it's 6 o'clock. Who goes to bed this early? I remember telling her like, hell no, I'm not going to bed. Like, why would I go to bed? And she told me as she put her hands on her knees saying, "You're gonna go to bed and I'm gonna enjoy this place." What? Enjoy my own place? At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was gonna rob us. But anyway, I went to my room, and when I got there, I remember I sat down. When I sat down, I just turned on my Xbox and started playing video games. In her mind, she thought I went to bed, and no, she did not check on me, which was the dumbest thing. And I don't know what kind of babysitter this was, but she definitely failed the babysitting test. I remember as I was playing Call of Duty though, I remember taking off my headset and I heard people coming through the door. And as I looked outside my window, I saw there was like a bunch of parked cars outside my own driveway. At this point, I had no idea what what was going on. So I remember I ended up running down the stairs and I saw there was a bunch of teenagers in the house. I had no idea what was going on. I looked around and I saw there was like more than like 20 guys and like 30 girls just chilling in my house, and I did not know who anyone was. They started drinking this thing called alcohol, which is not good, by the way. Don't drink alcohol in a stranger's home. And I remember I came down the stairs, me being a middle school kid, being like 4'7", went down the stairs and just saw a bunch of people staring at me. They all looked at me, and then the cheerleader, or at least that's what they called her, started running up to me, which was my babysitter, and said, "Oh, I thought you were asleep. What are you doing?" I told her, "What in the world is going on?" I remember I ended up running towards my parents' room, gonna grab the phone and snitch on her, but then she started running after me. And as she ran after me, I remember she ended up seeing me grab the phone, and she grabbed the phone from me. And she said, "Listen, I won't tell your parents, and you can enjoy the party with us." Bro, what? You're telling me this is gonna be my first high school party? That sounds kind of nuts, me being in middle school at least. I remember I ended up going down the stairs and seeing a bunch of hot girls. I'm not gonna lie. I knew at this point I was gonna get over my middle school crush. I remember walking down the stairs, looking at everybody. Everyone was looking at me, and me being in my pajamas, which is, wow, I just realized I was wearing my pajamas. But me wearing my pajamas, I remember I walked up to some girls. I was like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" And these girls were just laughing at anything I said. I don't know if it was because I was young or they were drunk, but either way, I think I had the moves with the ladies. I was like telling about, you know, how good I was at trick shotting and Call of Duty and all that stuff. You know, I was just flexing my controller skills. These hands ain't good for nothing. And I remember as I said that, one of the girls started giggling and grabbed my hand. And when she grabbed my hand, I remember she went up to my bedroom. I thought she wanted to play Xbox, but in reality, she just started sitting in my bed and started taking off her clothing. Okay, now obviously, I'm not gonna lie. This wasn't my babysitter. My babysitter had no idea what was going on, and honestly, I don't blame her for this moment, because at this point, everything that happens was on me. But I remember she had ended up taking off her clothes, and at that moment, for some reason, my babysitter just came through the door. Me standing there, like, on the side and seeing her getting naked on my bed kind of freaked her out. Obviously, this cheerleader wanted to do the devil's tango. But, yeah, no. She dragged me out of the room, closed the door behind her, and started yelling at the girl that was on my bed. As for me, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I did get a little slip of the cherries, but, I kind of just decided to move on and go back downstairs. When I went downstairs, I remember I was just kind of walking around, hanging out, and this football player, or this jock, I should just say. I don't know. All I know is that he had like a bomber jacket on, so I just automatically assumed it was a jock from the movies. But he came up to me saying, "Yo, little man, you want a beer?" And hands me a beer. This is my first time actually drinking beer. Funny enough. I remember I drank the beer and I was like, "Damn, dude, I'm wasted." When in reality, I wasn't. But yeah, I drank alcohol. Kids, don't drink alcohol underage. That's a warning. And I remember as things were getting lit and, you know, everyone's just blasting music. I see, you know, crazy stuff happen on my TV. You know, everyone's putting their hands up, singing onto songs, you know? Like, it was so cool. I'm not gonna lie. But then the worst of the worst ended up happening. What ended up happening was that we heard a knock on the door. We had no idea what it was. So I remember the cheerleader, or AKA my babysitter, told me to go answer the door. I thought it was more people coming to hang out and have a play date. Was I really wrong about that? I remember I opened the door and I saw two cops standing at the door. They had a phone in one hand and the other one just kind of just dangling there. The officer handed me the phone and it was my dad. My dad told me, "What in the world do you think you're doing?" And I was like, "Having a play date with like 30 people?" Yeah, no, I was gonna get away with that. I remember the girl that was the babysitter that was supposed to actually babysit me ended up getting in trouble as well. And yeah, apparently the way my dad found out was that he had security cameras installed around the house, or at least not like installed, but like, you know, like those cool like Amazon or Google like security cameras installed around the house, and me and her never noticed it. I'm happy he didn't have one in my room because he would have known what I did that night. But yeah, no, I got in serious trouble, and I remember I got my Xbox taken away from me for a week. Or actually, I got my controller taken away. I didn't get the whole Xbox taken away, so I just kind of had a secret controller to play Call of Duty at night. But anyways, other than that, that is basically the end of the story. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. Honestly, warning, do not do any of these things I tell in these stories. Be safe, be awesome, and stay yourself. Anyways, like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.